Welcome to the Friends in Business podcast with your hosts, Ben Wright and Jemima Ashley. Ben, known as the sales strategist, and Jemima, our resident visibility expert, are here to share their wealth of knowledge and experience with a little fun along the way. Whether you're a leader, entrepreneur, or aspiring business owner, this is the podcast where we share everything we know about business to help you succeed. Let's get started. Welcome to the Friends in Business podcast.
Hi Jemima, welcome back to episode 2.
We made it. Second episode.
We are halfway, I believe, to having a podcast that has beaten the trend of most podcasts to hit 4 recordings.
4 recordings, 19 downloads on average.
Wow.
That's sad, isn't it?
Wow. I am confident we're going to get there. So is it overconfidence?
I think it would be, no, I don't, but it's not in place. You and I aren't people that are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to do that, and then we don't do it.
That's true.
You this morning said to me, let's run 10 kilometres. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do 5. You're going to do 10. And that was the plan.
That's true. And I will have made things happen on my gravestone. That is definitely going to be there when I get to that point.
Is that your plan? Is that your
Well, it's very morbid, so we're not going to talk there. What we are going to do, though, is
mine's going to be, I told you I was sick.
Great. Can't wait. So today, we're going to get into it because we only have 25 minutes and we have a lot to say. And I know you have a lot to say today.
As a general rule, I do it anyway, so this is true.
That is excellent. That's also where value comes from.
Safe.
That is, I agree. So last episode, or our first episode, what we spoke about was 5 things that we were going to really focus on during this podcast to help business owners, people wanting to grow in leadership in their careers, and those that genuinely want to learn some ways of doing things better from people who've been there and done that. And those 5 things were all around visibility, creating value, learning some base business skills, actually getting really good at your craft, following that up with some systems and processes, depending on the journey you're at in your business, and really quite importantly at the end, understanding what your aspirational journey is. So why are you doing all of this and why you want to get there?
100%.
And we're going to come with some very different perspectives on that over the journey. But today we thought we would kick it off right in the heart of visibility. That's being seen, making sure people know all that great work you do. But I think more specifically, how social media plays a really significant role in visibility. And I know you're about to tell us a really good story, one that I love. But on top of that, we're going to learn from you about the 5 things in social media that you need to know about today.
Yeah, because I think also so interesting when you said that earlier, because social media, I think, hits a few of these other ones as well. Number one, I think it hits systems and processes, because I think we think of social media as an afterthought. I think we just think it's like, I should post something today. No, there is strategy, there is process behind that. It is a breadcrumbing activity again and again. Yeah. I think it's also can be quite aspirational for you to be very clear about where you're heading, and documenting your journey, I think, is really underrated. So,
well, I've seen some of the work you do with particularly Visibility Lab. I've heard some of your thoughts around it, and I'm actually looking forward to learning something today as well. So
you did say to me in the car earlier today, you were like, you're going to help me with this visibility stuff, right? And I was like, obviously, yes. Yeah, I think by proxy osmosis, I think it's going to definitely happen here.
Well, don't stuff it up, right? I think that's my message now. We've got 5 things.
Okay, cool.
Let's hook into it.
Let's go into it.
The floor is yours.
I've got a question for you first. How well do you think you do social media? Be honest.
Yeah. I would give myself probably a 4 to 5.
Out of 10?
I'm very persistent.
Yeah.
I put lots of video content up there. I don't think I spend enough time really understanding what my audience needs. But for what I need at the moment, which is social proof of my business,
perfect.
I'm getting everything I need from there.
Yeah, great.
But from what I could get from my business, if I ranked it in the priority where it needed to be, a hell of a lot more, of course.
Yeah, of course. So today I want to talk about the 5 things that I would tell anyone from a basic business owner. And I really want to start by saying, no matter where you are in the journey right now, it's really important that you just know where you are, but know we can improve. Because no matter what you're doing right now, there's no judgment. Like, I'm not like 4 out of 5, Ben. What are you talking? Like, it's not about itself. It's actually about where could you take this? And really, what do you want to get out of it? And for most people, I think it really comes down to, you're looking for sales, you're looking for that visibility aspect, and the number one thing that you use this for, and I know that you use this for, social proof. I am doing what I say I'm doing on repeat and being an expert about it. So number one, the first thing I want to tell everyone is what platforms are you on and making sure you're on the right platforms. You don't think that I need to say this, but you would be surprised how many business owners who are entrepreneurs who are like, oh, Instagram's where my clients are at. No, that's where the likes are at. LinkedIn is where your clients are at.
Yeah, understanding where your customers hang out.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Where are they spending time and money, right?
Yeah. It's not do they hang out at the local pub. We're talking about where do they hang out in a business sense. We really need to understand our customers before we go and spend all this time strategically on what we're doing.
And attention economy, I cannot stress this enough, attention economy is everything. The average person right now is taking in, and this is insane, so quick fact, bit of a nerd, love a good start. We are taking in 2.5 movies worth of data from our phone every single day.
So what did you call that? The attention economy.
Attention economy.
Can you just break that down a little bit more?
Where we are spending our time, including our attention, is where we need to be invested, where the money is. So if we think about this, and I'll use the 1990s as the example. Ben, you will take me to the airport in a few days' time. We'll drive in a car. It's going to be great. On that drive in the 1990s, there would have been hundreds of billboards. They were there all the time. How many billboards have you seen lately? Not that many, right?
I've actually got some experience in that there are certainly not as many as there used to be. Certainly not as much hard print advertising. One
of the reasons for that really simply is that we don't really look at billboards anymore. And one of the big things that the misconceptions was the driver was the person who was looking. The driver is mostly looking at the road, but the person in the passenger princess seat is usually the person who's looking at the billboards and will chat about, we should get Hungry Jacks for dinner, we should do this, or we should. And it's nice that the driver's doing the glimpse, right? That's not where they're looking anymore. They're now looking at a phone. Our entire attention is now on this little device that is connected to our hand most of the time. And attention economy is really just everywhere that our attention is where the money is. And billboards don't work anymore for the simple fact that no one's really looking at them. Even drivers are looking at their phones. Don't do that, just FYI. But a lot of people are looking at their phones.
So the attention economy is where we're actually spending our time. And correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that we also have attention spans that are generally shorter than they used to be.
The pandemic has ruined us. We used to have attention spans that would sit around 20 to 30 seconds.
Right.
We're now at about 9 seconds.
Right.
TikTok really drove a big part of this trend. So again, know where your client's spending time and money. The average person age at the start of the pandemic for TikTok was about 16, 17.
Right.
It was exclusively a dance app. Where kids were doing the youths were doing the dances on the TikTok. Unfortunately now, the average mean age is about 34 and most people are doing personal development / political, and some dancing still occurs.
It's interesting you say that. So whilst our attention span has halved, what has also happened in the sales world, and I might add here because I've got lots of experience from this point of view, is the number of times we need to have contact with our prospects has also doubled.
Touch points.
So touch points were, and depends on the studies you look at, there's lots of studies out there, but 5 to 6 pre-COVID was the touch points. Number of times you had to have an interaction with your customers. It's now 11 to 13. And there are more decision makers, but we won't go down that path. So we have attention spans halving, but we need to be in contact with our customers
way more.
Twice as much. So we're needing to be putting out good content or good interactions with our customers more often to get a deal done.
So think about this. If you are making really great videos and they're 15 seconds long and you're pumping them on LinkedIn, is that the right platform for that? And I'm not saying yes or no for that, but it depends on where your client is. For business people, you absolutely still need to be going on LinkedIn and you still need to be posting, but you also now need to look at Instagram and Reels. You need to be in Meta and you need to be. Our top players are in the social media world. If you're a business professional, LinkedIn is a minimum. Facebook, let me be very clear, while our parents are the ones who are really using this for the most numbers, we will go to Facebook 70, I'm just getting this number right, 76% of the time to check if people are legitimate. You can buy a website pretty easily, website like Facebook's that have in-depth posts, reviews, really hard to we also want to buy from the person. We want to know what problem we solve, who we solve that problem for, and then that person is actively out there doing that. So we talk about this being social proof for your
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
At a minimum, LinkedIn, and you must have a Facebook on there. The other ones that you probably need to look at, Instagram, definitely one of them. And the other one would be TikTok. They are kind of our key players at the moment.
Right, 4 key players. LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
Yes. X, I get asked about a lot. Unless you have a following on there already, no, I would not recommend it.
Okay.
It's hard to build a following now.
YouTube.
Absolutely worthwhile. Wouldn't necessarily refer to that as a social media platform. I think it's a nice add-on later.
Yeah.
But you need to get those key players going first. People will go there first.
4 key players with a little bit of an asterisk around YouTube.
Yeah.
Being off to the side, but YouTube's growing
Absolutely.
famously quickly.
100%.
Yeah.
It is getting harder to monetize. Let me be very clear on that. And their regulations are getting a lot stronger. We're seeing even really big YouTubers moving away and creating their own streaming platforms for that simple reason.
Oh, wow. Okay, I think that we need to bookmark that stream.
Oh, I could spend hours talking about this. Love this stuff, Ben. Love it. So that's my first thing, is know your platform, know exactly who you are. Number 2.
Tell me.
You're going to get mad about this one, though. You've got to post every single day. I know.
Even weekends?
Yes, sorry.
I thought Sunday was a day of rest.
That is nice. Not for social media.
Right.
I know. I'm not proud. No one's happy about it. So let's talk about social media numbers. One of the key things I get told regularly, I feel like I'm going to annoy people if I post too much. I hear it all the time. And you're not going to annoy anyone because no one's going to see it. We use this as the timeline. Ben, I'm going to put your hand up for a second. So we're going to call that 8 o'clock in the morning.
Great.
We're going to call this 8 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah.
If I post at 8 o'clock in the morning, what percentage of my friends list do you think is going to see that?
Oh, 8 o'clock. You're on your way to work. You're settling in. You might have got there and are having a coffee and having. I'm going to run with 5.
It's about 6%.
Oh, great.
What if I post at 8 p.m. at night?
Oh, I'm going to say higher. I might run with 8 to 10.
Still 6%.
Right.
And back up, please.
Oh, excuse me.
Now, question for you. If I post it at 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 p.m. at night, okay, now you can put your hand down. What is the cumulative total of my friends list that'll see those posts?
Between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.?
Mm-hmm. If I post it both times.
Oh, but we've got 5% or 6% and
6 and
6%, 12%. Or have we got overlap? Is it the same 6% from the morning and night?
It's about 10%.
Right.
So
right.
When people say, I'm going to annoy anyone, you're not going to annoy anyone, I promise you, because hardly anyone's going to see it. This is the thing with social media. It will change. It will chop and change. But if you were just to start posting now and you would try to do 2 posts a day, on average, 10% are going to see it.
Right.
Unless you get a really high engagement, a lot of shares, a lot of likes, a lot of views.
So if we run the numbers, and yes, I am very much a numbers guy.
Isn't he?
If we have 10% each and every day for 7 days, and it's not the same people, 0 overlap, we're talking about 70% of our following will hear from us once a week.
Yep.
So based on those numbers, our following will hear from us about every week and a half.
Yeah.
They're going to hear from us posting every single day. Of course, there are going to be people within that 70% that are going to see us every day. And boy, some of my friends are constantly savage at me around whenever they open LinkedIn, they see my face there. That's generally because they've engaged with it.
Of course.
And they see some value out of it, either through friendship, supporting your mates, or actually taking some value.
Look, your aunt that always likes your stuff, my mum is always going to see the top things, of course, because they're the ones that are obviously going to know, like, and trust. But also remember here that when it comes to these things, just because people aren't liking or engaging doesn't mean they're not looking. And Meta is fantastic. Facebook and Instagram is fantastic at tracking. If you open a page and people are looking at you and they're going through your feed,
right,
you better believe that you're going to be retargeted. Those people will be retargeted without you needing to put in cookies or any tracking. They're pretty good at knowing who's looking at your stuff.
So, devil's advocate, and I'm assuming you're going to talk about some automation of posts. I know that's coming, but devil's advocate. I don't post every day.
Yeah.
I post 5 or 6 days a week.
Yep.
What do I expect?
If you are currently posting once a week and you go to 5 or 6, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
As long as you're improving that number. I am always do it well, at a minimum, and then you can add to it. So if you are currently at 1%, like if you're currently doing 1 post a year, let's get you to once a week or once a month to start with. We will slowly start that improve, because what we don't want to do is build a system and a process here that's overwhelming.
Yeah. I think that's really important, is if 7 is the best practice principle, please don't get lost in that journey. I spent huge amounts of time around having meaningful goals the whole way through our journey. Every part of strategic planning I do with any business is we have big goals, normally 3.
Yeah.
We break them down into chunky ones. We will talk about this, I promise. but then have little meaningful steps along the journey.
Yeah.
So it might be 1 to 2 to 3. We sit at 3 for a few weeks. We get it right. We then move to 4.
We get
right?
comfortable with it. We see
Yeah.
people aren't unfriending us. We see people aren't unfollowing. And it's one of the things that we have to show over time that it's not going to end the world if you're posting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, great.
And I think it's so interesting to watch when people go, oh, I'm not annoying anyone. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not, you know.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. So number 1, Big 4 platforms.
Big 4 platforms, yes. Second one is posting once a day.
Great.
No
Number
one's
3.
happy about it. Number 3, let's talk about the types of content.
Right.
Because this is where people get stuck, right? They go, okay, well, that's great, Jemima, but what am I meant to post? Let's talk about it. Industry best practice tells us, and one of the businesses I used to have was a social media business, which is why I love this stuff so much. First thing is tell me you're an expert. Whatever you're an expert in, you will be surprised how many really good business owners who are making good money don't actually share what they're good at.
Right.
That you're an expert. Hi, my name's Jemima Ashley, and I'm an expert in visibility.
So,
like, just as simple as, oh, did you know that if I was to turn this into a post right now about, did you know you need to post on social media once a day? That is an expert post where I've actively proven I know what I'm talking about, and here is a tool and a tip to help you do the thing that you say you're going to do right now.
So how do we work that out, what we're an expert at?
I hope you know.
What if you don't? Let's say you're like me, who I'm human. I have moments where my confidence dips. No, I've had a great life and I've done so many things in business, but I still have moments where I feel like that imposter, or I'm just uncertain as to what I do next.
I would always say go back to what problem you solve and who you solve that problem for, and what do they need to know.
Okay.
I would always say come back to visibility. I can really classify that as being like building a personal brand, doing your social media, doing PR, teaching people how to get on podcasts, speaking engagements, winning awards. Once you start breaking it down into that, I can teach you 50 things off the back of those. So it really is this quite chunky behavior where you go, what problem do I solve? I help people get visible. What do they need to know? The 5 top things. Then what I would do is go, well, what goes into awards? I have to write an application. What is the industry best practice one for that? What is supporting material? Where would I find an award to go to? We start to pull this out, and suddenly we have 5 pieces of content without me even really having to think about it. So it can be as simple as, hi, my name's Ben. I'm a sales strategist. This is what I do. What is a sales call?
Okay. So it's what problem you solve.
What problem you solve?
Start if we are in doubt and we're looking to post something of value, it's all about the value of the problem we solve. Great. Okay. So that's number 3.
So next part of that is obviously expert posts. So once you're doing your expert post, it's going to CRM. Do you know when people don't add CRM posts don't put people into your CRM, customer relationship management software, not putting people into doing a sales post, buy something from me. You know how many people don't do it? It's crazy to me. Like, you should come and join the Visibility Lab. And people go, all right.
So we're talking about
the steps by steps. So the industry best practice tell us we need to have expert posts, the first one. The second one we need to have is CRM posts. We need to have expert and sales posts that are going out. Third thing, personal. Now, this is not a Dear Diary entry. This is not, Dear Diary, Ben was mean to me this morning. He said something. It's not that. This is not what we're talking about.
Jemima, we're not bringing that in today.
I want to talk about it.
You were done with it.
Oh, fine.
So, okay, so we've got expert posts. So that's sharing knowledge. CRM post. By CRM post, for those who aren't certain, that is, it's essentially a sales post.
100%.
So asking people to come and join your community and everything that's around that. And then the third one is a personal post. Yeah, around things you're learning.
Just also around showing you, because ultimately you're the person that people are buying from. They want to know, like, and trust you. We have moved away really dramatically since the pandemic, moved away from buying from those really big corporation chains. We've really moved to the mum and pop shops. I watched, actively today when we went out for lunch, we made a choice about what cafe we were going to go to. It was like, we'll do the smaller version of the bigger supermarket that was next door for the simple reason we're trying to support the mum and pop stuff way more. And finally, the big one is you have to have some inspirational stuff there. The personal stuff we have to show because we need to know that the person's there, but also we need to give them just a little bit of inspiration that you're going to bring some glitter and some sizzle and some sparkle to their lives. That aspirational stuff really coming back here.
I think
if we have a hybrid of that in our social media where we're actively sharing we're an expert, we're asking people to buy from us, we're sharing who we are as people, Now, let me give you an example. This is a book I'm reading right now. I'm going on a plane. Lunch with Ben. That's as personal as these need to be. It is not Dear Diary entries. And I think that's really important because I think people get a bit, I don't want everyone to know. I don't want everyone knowing my stuff either, you know. Like, you've got to have some level of, but then also inspiration and just letting yourself out there.
Great. Okay.
Industry best practice, that is the format that I would be running with.
Okay, great. We're gonna come back. We're gonna circle these. Anything from today will be in our show notes. That's really important to know. If you don't catch it, don't worry. You can run through the notes. All right, moving on to number 4.
Social media is underutilized.
Right.
You are, at the moment, I can tell you that of the billions of platforms, only about 1% are logging in and using it and posting every single day.
Yeah. There are some numbers there, and they genuinely are single-digit percentages around people who are on a platform. The 1 billion plus LinkedIn users, for example, that actually use it every day. Okay.
Because you don't have to be spending forever on there. Don't get me wrong. I do a lot of social media and have a fairly good following on a very healthy following on a lot of my platforms. But I have social media timers, half an hour of every one of them every day, because I know that I'm a good doom scroller when I need to be. At 3 a.m., like, I can't sleep. I am the queen of that if I'm not monitoring that. And it's designed for us to do that.
So if point number 4 is we're underutilising social media, what should we be doing about it? We've spoken about posting every day. Is this a different tip to that?
No, this is really just about being consistent with that every day, or as close as we can to every day. Even if it's once a week to start with, we're going to build you up on that one.
Okay. It also includes, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just about our posts that we do. It's also about how we engage with our community back.
Tip number 5, and we also need to make sure we're engaging with people, because it's great, Ben, if we post a photo and a person goes, oh, that's great, guys. Hope you're having a great time. Oh, back in Noosa. Oh, you're having a great... If I'm not engaging with those, social media is going to go, you're just doing this for the likes. Yeah. You're not here to build the community. And you better believe that again, attention economy, Facebook is going to reward us for spending our time on their platform, or Meta as a whole. Our attention's there, we're going to get rewarded for it.
Right. Got it. Great. 5 pretty chunky ways we should be using social media right now. Can you run through them again, please? 1 to 5, just very quickly.
Yeah, of course. The first, number 1, would be that you have to be posting on social media. You need to know what you need to be posting on social media. Number 2, you need to have a hybrid model, expert, sales posts, personal, and some inspiration in there as well. We need to be, you're not going to annoy anyone, just a reminder, 6% of people. You need to be posting every single day. No one's happy about that.
Yep.
It is extremely underutilized, and make sure that you're engaging with your community. You're really going to be wanting to do that community's part.
Okay, excellent. I like those tips because they're generally within everyone's reach.
Yeah.
People are a bit stuck. What do they do?
Start at the very beginning. Go back to looking at your social media. Go back and look at what you're doing well. Repurpose what you've already sent out.
Right.
Go and have a look what you've already done. What's performed well? What have you put out before and people have really gotten excited about it? You ever done a post and been surprised by it and been like, that got a lot of likes?
Yeah.
Almost guarantee, I don't know the post you're going to say, was it a bit more behind the scenes versus a bit more salesy?
Yeah, my one was actually around Sunday night anxiety, which I used to get a lot of when I was in business.
Sunday scaries.
Yeah, Sunday scaries. And they used to float into murderous Monday mornings for me, but I got on top of them. So shared a bit of information around that.
You did a post on that. So my number 1 liked photo on Instagram annoyed the hell out of me. I had been to Hawaii. I'd done speaking engagements overseas. I had run a Balinese retreat. I had like the Instagram perfect life for the year. Do you know the photo that got like 400 comments, like 1,000 likes? A photo of my cat. And then it annoyed me so much. He just got into the bed and he just looked really nice in the lighting. I took a photo and I posted it and it went a little viral. Do you know how annoying that was?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a cat lover, so, I'm struggling to compute that one. But, okay, so Jemima, number 1 thing from today, we've spoken about this in our first episode, and I want to repeat it, is every single episode, we're going to make sure that we provide our number 1 insight or tip or something that's really important from the podcast. And the reason we're doing that is because learning is generally has a retention period of about 3 months. We want to make sure that we're stretching that out, and by doing so, we've got to pick the big things that we can get out there and implement straight away. So, number 1 from you today, please.
number one takeawayable item, make sure that you're on the right platforms and post every single day.
Right. Well, that's two things, but that's okay. We can run with two.
Oh, can I have two?
You can have two today. So make sure you're on the right platforms and post every single day.
Yeah.
Mine is actually going to be the step before that, and it's going to be to start.
Yeah.
I started on video about 2 years ago. Hugely daunting. It took me a long time to get the courage up to be able to do it, but I'm now on video all the time, and I actually teach the use of video quite regularly to a lot of my partners and customers. So I couldn't have done it if I didn't start, and I just learned so much from starting and each day improving. So if we take that 1% rule, you get 1% better every day that you do something, then the numbers are pretty significant in terms of growth.
I think the big thing from that for me is like done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, neither of us are looking at this, and we know that we're sitting in a beautiful background, but I also know that we were like, oh, how do I sit like a person? No one's going to be super comfortable when they sit down for the first time, right? No one's ever going to be, we're starting a podcast series, like the first couple of episodes. What's that going to be like? How are we going to go with it? Done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone learns as they go along. Kobe didn't pick up a basketball and was like, I've got this.
Yeah. Great. I agree. Okay. Great episode. Thank you, Jemima, for sharing some of your wisdom. Please, everyone, we are going to be back next week, and we are going to start to talk about networking. I think social media and networking, they tend to drive fear and trepidation into lots of people in business. So
they're my favourite things. When people are like, I hate them. I was like, oh my God, they're so easy. But then you got to start talking about sales posts, and I'm going to want to have
they take lots of work. So everyone, until next time.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Make good choices.
Bye for now.
I've been tried, and I've been tested.
Thank you for listening to the Friends in Business podcast. This episode was brought to you by your hosts, Ben Wright and Jemima Ashley, recorded in beautiful Noosa, Queensland. For more insights and resources, visit Ben at strongersalesteams.com and Jemima at jemimaashley.com. If today's podcast has helped you, we'd be so grateful if you could leave a review and share with someone you know. This will help more people in the world benefit from the hard work we're putting in to bring you the best content we possibly can.